Welcome into the Sports Buffoons podcast. Mike Settle running it here along with Tanner Dawson and Jason JG. How you guys doing?
Woo! Everybody.
What's up, yo? What's up?
I mean, I
Let's
didn't
get
realize,
it popping. Let's get it cracking.
didn't realize you were that excited, Jason. I know we're pumped about mock drafts.
We're
but
pumped.
My goodness.
Is it draft day?
I'm getting ready for my draft.
If I
It's
tell
coming
you a
this weekend.
secret, because if I tell you a secret, it might not be 10, it might be 12 rounds. Does that make you even more happy?
I don't care. I've got 3 drafts this weekend, so
3?
I'm ready to roll.
Yeah, I got kicked out of one of them, not on purpose. It just happened, right? I forgot to pay. Everyone does it at some point. I mean, we just all get busy and things happen. So, how many drafts do you have, Tanner?
1, 2, 3, I believe, right now.
3 drafts.
3,
Tanner.
possibly a 4th if I get the email, but I haven't seen nothing.
I wouldn't mind if I don't do another one. Let's do DFS the whole rest of the season, the daily fantasy.
That's not a bad thing.
You know, I'll play with that probably every week at that point. But overall, you guys have a good weekend. How's that going?
I had a great weekend, but it's not as good as this next weekend's going to be. I mean,
Right. Of course, Saturday is our official draft here for the Sports Buffoons. We're going to have a whole little get-together here, of course. We'll be picking in all of our spots. We'll have a recap of it, of course, afterwards. And that's just going to be a great time, good old party between a bunch of people here from in town, based out of, as you can probably tell, near Kansas City, Missouri, if you guys are new to the show. But first and foremost, you guys, we have a lot of information to give our followers out there when it comes to fantasy football. So we are going to be doing a mock draft, but I do want to hit on a couple things before we get started here. The Chiefs have got their cut down to 53, which is actually 51. Is that still correct, Tanner?
I believe so. Yeah, we have
51.
not. Kemp was supposedly supposed to come back, but as of right now, 51.
Right. So Darius Fountain ended up being the 5th wide receiver kept on the team, but Jason, you and I were talking off air a little bit ago. You had a little bit of a problem with something that did on the offensive line. What are your thoughts on that?
I just had a problem with the fact that we're going to keep, if you count Kyle Long on the PUP list right now, we're going to have 11 offensive linemen on the roster. And I understand why they did it. It's kind of an overreaction, a knee-jerk reaction to losing that last game of the season the way that they lost last year. And so I just don't see the need for 11 offensive linemen. I would rather have an extra running back in there. I would rather have Tim Ward in there. And so, but the bottom line for me is I do trust Brett Veach, and that's what we have to do. We have to trust the professionals. That's why those guys are sitting in their positions, and that's why I'm sitting here in this fucking chair.
So perfect.
Those guys are the experts.
Trust Big Red. As Tyron Matthew told somebody today on Twitter, and he is the best Twitter handle out there. Trust Big Red.
Right? Absolutely. Why would we not at this point? Because this team obviously has won a Super Bowl and should have been to 3 in a row. And so I'm obviously Andy Reid knows what he's doing. A lot of that has to do with Patrick Mahomes and his tenure since he's been a starter now in the city. But we do have some guys returning to the roster. Now, practice squads have been expanded this year, so
Correct.
That is also good news. A couple guys I was enjoying seeing come back on the list. Devon Key, someone who had a rough preseason, of course, is back once again on the practice squad. Now, one of my favorite dudes, Tim Ward, is now claimed by the New York Jets, and that's very disappointing. So the Jets fans out there, if you're following along here, enjoy that guy. He's actually probably going to end up being a starter on that team, legitimately, because that team just lacks talent altogether. So I think there's very much a chance of that to happen. But otherwise, they kept around DiCaprio Bootle, Shakir Brown, Darrell Williams, the center, and Maurice French, another receiver. So
they also got Derek Gore. He stayed.
Derek Gore,
we got
yes.
a couple guys from some teams. Derek Gore, I think, could have made the roster if the right moves happened, but obviously the Chiefs have a different direction they're looking for. But we did get him on the practice squad, luckily. And then Darwin Thompson, who we did cut, actually signed with Tampa Bay on the practice squad. Mm-hmm. So he went to Tampa Bay, which is whatever, right?
Yeah, we'll see how long that lasts because
we'll see what
they have a loaded backfield there with Giovanni Bernard as well as Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette. So we'll see how well that plays.
Yeah, and then Garrett Dieter, guys, joins the practice squad as well once again. And this is a guy, wasn't he around? He's been around for 5 years.
Yeah, I was surprised that was even allowed at this point. I thought there was like a rule about that, but they might have also expanded on
They
that.
probably expanded
I'm
that,
not
but we
even
did get a
honestly
couple
sure.
guys. So from the Lions, Shakir Brown, or no, not Lions, Pittsburgh, Shakir Brown, cornerback. We did sign to the practice squad, and then Benito Jones from the defensive tackle from the Dolphins, and then Cortez Bronson, another defensive tackle from the Chargers. So those are 3 guys outside of who we saw in the preseason come into play in our Chiefs world.
Yeah, so we're going to talk a lot more Chiefs here at the end of our mock draft. We're going to kick into that. Jason now over here is going to have a sip of his Delta Rosé wine. You had that last week, and you still have more of the Delta still once again.
Oh, this is my second bottle. You know,
Second round?
Once you have the Delta variant, you can't go back. You know,
Wow.
it's like they always say: once you go black, you never go black. You never go back. So I'm rolling with the Delta variant 2 weeks in a row.
Look, you do that once, you're going to have the Lambda, you're going to have the Mu, you're going to have all the other variants that come out now. The Colombian variant, the Mu.
Maybe I want the Mu. You know, don't shortchange me here. Maybe
Get your
that's
little
what I
Mu in your
want.
life, and we can go about it that way. All right, guys, I'm sure you guys are talking or getting tired of us talking about some BS. We're going to jump into our mock draft here. The thing you've been looking forward to, and we're basing this off of PPR, by the way. We're going to be using the Sleeper app for our mock draft today. I am picking 2nd overall, and Jason, you're picking what, 5th? Is that right?
Yes, I have the 5th
And
pick.
Tanner, you got number 10.
Got 10.
So we'll just up on the screen for you guys to follow along with us, and we'll also go through some tips and some ideas we have of why we picked the way we did. I know people out there are very excited about their drafts coming up this weekend.
Great.
I know we're all pumped as we saw Jason in the very beginning.
It's a big Labor Day weekend, right? Long weekend,
that's-
multiple drafts. We got stuff going on, guys. Like there's just a previous weekend that was probably the biggest, but this is just right there with it.
Well, Tanner, people are not only drafting on Saturday, but now Sunday is free
And
because
I got a Monday draft.
People have Mondays off.
Yeah,
So
I got a Monday draft too.
We have a whole situation coming
It's
up.
gonna be a crazy
It's going to
week.
be just a great weekend of fantasy drafts and wives being ignored. But you know what? There's going to be a weekend for guys every once in a while.
I got 2 Monday drafts.
What?
I got 2 Monday drafts.
Oh,
I didn't realize
well,
that come
well,
Labor Day.
Good luck with that, Tanner. You figure that thing out.
Oh man.
All right, Jason. Are you set up on the Sleeper app, or
I'm set up. Let's do it.
The Buffoons draft, Jason. You are now in on the Buffoons draft. You are now locked and loaded. So we had a little technical difficulty there. All right, Tanner. We are ready.
Are we ready to
whenever
get this
you
thing
are.
rolling?
Let's get this thing rolling. PPR style,
Start
guys,
draft, guys.
and we'll also give input as we go.
All right, we're already up to 2 here. First overall went Christian McCaffrey. Mike,
Christian
you were on the
McCaffrey.
clock here.
I'm on the clock now at number 2. For me, with McCaffrey's off the board, I probably didn't want him to begin with. I like Dalvin Cook better. I just think the production is going to be there more consistently. And also, I didn't really prefer McCaffrey's injury coming off last year. I think at this point, Cook is the way to go because Kamara is also working with a different quarterback, and Derrick Henry in PPR formats is just not up to my standard for what I like as far as guys catching passes. So Dalvin's the perfect mixture of pure runner as well as great pass catcher at the same time. So for me, Dalvin Cook all the way on this one.
Over Kamara
And
Henry.
boom,
Okay.
Dalvin.
All right, so Saquon,
Jason's on the clock.
Alvin, then
All right, so this time Alvin Kamara is gone. So here are my choices. I got Derrick Henry, Ezekiel Elliott, Nick Chubb. I got to go with Nick Chubb here, guys.
over Ezekiel.
I'm going over Ezekiel, and I understand that Derrick Henry is kind of like the GOAT when we're looking at running backs here, but I love Nick Chubb. I love that roster, and so I'm going to take Nick Chubb in that range because I just don't think you can go wrong with that. So I'm going to go Nick Chubb.
Interesting.
All right.
Very interesting.
All right, guys. So I'm up on the clock here as we look here. Now it's kind of interesting. I'm at a tough spot right at 10. I can go receiver. I can go tight end, number 1 tight end, or I could hit another running back here. Kind of looking at the availability, right? Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce is right there with it. Aaron Jones is right there. Austin Eckler or Stephon Diggs, and even Patty Mahomes is in the list, right, within that top 5. For me personally, if I'm at the 10th spot right now, I think you got to hit the running backs pretty hot, and I think a sneaking Austin Eckler is going to be the guy because he's going to be possibly the best running back come this fantasy season.
He works in PPR, absolutely. If you're in a standard league, I would advise against that, Tanner.
Yeah, in a standard league, I wouldn't touch it.
All right, you're back-to-back here again.
Back-to-back, guys. I come back here. Aaron Jones or Patrick Mahomes or DK Metcalf. I don't think I'm going to go running back. You know what? I am. I'm going to go Jones here and go back-to-back running back. Pass on Patty Mahomes and go, we'll see what happens there, but not going to hurt on the running back depth.
All right, so here we go. The JG is on the clock, and I've already got one running back, so I'm going to go for a second running back here. Best player on the board right now is Najee Harris, and I am a big believer in him this year. And we want to go running back heavy on this show. So this is the year where you want to take as many running backs as possible in those first 3 to 4 rounds. And so I understand I could get Calvin Ridley or AJ Brown, George Kittle. There's a lot of good receivers down there, but Najee Harris for me is the best player on the board right now. So I'm going to take my second running back, Najee Harris.
Yeah, it's funny you're talking about that there, Jason, because I know in the past I've always been kind of a zero RB kind of a style strategy within my way I construct my rosters. I like to get my running backs in the 4th or 5th or 6th round. This year, I'm all with you. We got to go running backs early because that depth is no longer there like it used to be, because we have guys like Eckler, who used to be a backup to Melvin Gordon, who was getting good points at one point, and they step in now as a starter role, but we still need to see more on the ground, and I haven't seen enough on the ground for a guy like that for me to really want to use a good value pick of a 1st or 2nd round pick on them, where to me they're worth 5th or 6th round picks.
So now we're in an interesting situation with you, right? So your best running back available, it's Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But are you worried about his injury history? He got injured again this preseason, injured towards the end of last year. Like, are we worried about his ankle, his legs, being not being healthy at all?
I mean, look, at an Andy Reid offense, you have a player like Clyde Edwards-Helaire right here at the back end of the 2nd round. It's totally worth the risk here. And you also got Calvin Ridley as well. Calvin Ridley, also wide receiver, is there for me as well. I go either way, and Justin Jefferson is also in the mix as well for me there.
Yes.
In this situation, because I talked to you guys just about this a second ago, I'm going to go Clyde Edwards-Helaire, with Josh Jacobs actually being potentially on my radar for this pick.
I do like
so
Jacobs.
Clyde is my guy coming back around. So Calvin just went off the board. Jefferson went off the board. So the 2 picks that were ahead of me here as we come back around have taken my receivers. That's who I wanted to go after, and that's who I probably, it could have gone after those guys. That would have made a lot of sense for me to do. Now, if I'm looking at the list of our list here, we got Josh Allen still available at quarterback, Kyler Murray still available. Running backs, still Josh Jacobs sitting there. If I want to solidify that running back spot, Keenan Allen is now available as the WR1 on my board right here as far as ADP goes.
Yep.
That's tempting for sure. I think that Justin Herbert is probably going to propel him once again into putting up good numbers as long as he's healthy. We've always known that about Keenan Allen. For me in this situation, I'm happy with my running backs. Clyde and Dalvin are my guys. And I'm going to go with Keenan Allen here because I know I'm going to get my PPR points looking at 90 catches, 1,200 yards minimum.
All right. Head back up to Jason here.
All right. So talking about with the running back situation, it's not necessary for you guys to go WR0 this year. We want to get your running backs locked in early, but that doesn't mean that you have to draft 3 or 4 running backs in the first 5 rounds of your draft. So I don't want you guys to go overboard here, just to be clear. So I'm sitting here. I've already got 2 running backs. Looking at Josh Jacobs, Terry McLaurin, DeAndre Swift. I don't really give a shit about. He plays for the fucking Lions. I'm going to make a reach here, and I'm going to go Allen Robinson.
Oh, wow.
And
you're going Bears?
I'm going to go Bears, and I'm going to go
the Bears
I'm going to go wide receiver. But guess what, guys? The Bears don't have anyone to throw the fucking ball to.
They like Darnell Mooney, by the way.
The most important thing is Allen Robinson, he has put up or shut up with shitty-ass fucking quarterbacks his whole fucking career. This is the first time that he might have a decent quarterback with Justin Fields. So
you're saying he repeats again because last year he finished as WR10 in PPR fantasy leagues. So you think he repeats that once again, considering we now have 9 receivers off the board?
I think he can repeat or do better.
Okay.
Because I just think that Allen Robinson, he's had garbage quarter. Who
who's
did he have?
Who's his quarterback now?
Did he have Blake Bortles as his fucking quarterback?
Trubisky,
No,
Nichols.
Mitch Biscuit. So this might be the year where he has a decent fucking quarterback in Justin Fields.
Andy Dalton.
Take him.
Andy Dalton.
Take him.
Yeah, I'll take an Allen Robinson all day long. Best fucking quarterback he's ever had.
Well, we'll see how that turns out.
He's gonna fucking blow up.
Are we concerned? As I get to my pick real quick, are we concerned about the Josh Jacobs, Kenyon Drake split backfield? Is this taking away Josh Jacobs' value at that spot?
To me, not at all. I think the Raiders love Josh Jacobs. First of all, they drafted him. Also, he's a power back. The dude can pretty much do it all. He's fast. He's stout. He's strong. Kenyon Drake is what he is. He's a change of pace, third down back at best. That's why he also failed in two different other franchises. So,
yeah. So here at 10 guys here, what I'm kind of looking at this spot, best available is McLaurin. Obviously, Mike Evans, Chris Carson's, and Julio Jones are in the mix here. I'm not looking quarterback at this point still. I think there's way too much talent out there to even look at it. For me here, I am going to go McLaurin. I think he's just going to be the number one target, and also he's going to give Fitzpatrick such a wide open receiver that we don't have to worry about stuff here. So McLaurin here at 10.
You like him as your WR1?
Love his WR1, especially in fantasy.
WR1. Okay.
Outside, I mean, Curtis Samuel's on the other side, but with Curtis Samuel's being off to a slow start in the preseason, didn't really actually practice at all. Mm-hmm. Look at McLaurin to have a heyday.
But look at your options now at receiver. So you already got your running backs figured out.
Correct.
Now at receiver, you're sitting there with what?
So I got Julio Jones, I got CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Chris Godwin, Cooper Kupp's right there, Robert Woods, who a lot of people like ahead of time. At this point here, I'm not going Julio yet. I'm waiting on Julio. It's not on top pick. I'm going to go CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb's going to get a lot of work. Yeah. CeeDee Lamb at this spot here is almost a steal at some leagues, just for the fact that through the whole offseason, he was getting lots and lots of targets.
So you notice after that, Amari Cooper went right after CeeDee Lamb on this list here. And so you think CeeDee Lamb, is that the WR1 or is it Cooper WR1?
So Cooper's WR1 technically, but CeeDee Lamb's going to get the targets, going to get the receptions, going to get the yards.
I like Lamb a lot.
He was very favored in the offseason.
Yep. So that was a great pick. I agree with you on that. So I'm sitting here, and I think it's time for me to get a quarterback.
Quarterback time already?
I know it might be a little bit early, but I got to take a quarterback. I mean, I understand that Julio is sitting there. I don't really know I don't trust Julio to play more than like 10 games this year.
That's fair to say.
Cooper Kupp, I mean, he could be the go-to guy, but we're not really sure on that. I'm going to go quarterback. I believe in Russell Wilson this year. Really? So I'm going to take Russell Wilson. Okay. You know, they had Brian Schottenheimer as their offensive coordinator last year, and they just ran the ball all day long. So there's a chance that they could unleash Russell Wilson this year.
What makes you have to pick Russell Wilson, a quarterback, over Woods, Kupp, Thielen, and more? Like those four should be, I believe, on top target before a quarterback.
I mean, with Woods and Kupp, they're just going to they'll be competing against each other. I mean, I just think I want to get an elite quarterback, and Russell Wilson is a guy that you can trust. And I think this could be a breakout year for him this year. And I've said it all along. He could be competing for the MVP award this year. So I'm going to go with Russell Wilson here. Got my quarterback out of the way. Don't have to worry about it the rest of the draft.
Yeah, it's interesting you talk about breakout still to me, Jason, because Wilson still had 40 touchdowns passing last season, as well as 500 yards rushing. So, like, to me, it's like we already know how good he is. Obviously, the DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett combination is phenomenal with that offense. So, like, you know what you're going to get out of Wilson, in my opinion. I think that he is what he is, which is a top-end, probably top 5 quarterback in your fantasy league, especially because he has a scrambling ability that he has had for his whole career at this point. So it's not a bad pick whatsoever because you know what you're going to get. You're going to start him every week.
It's like a safe bet.
You can trust him.
Safe bet.
You can trust him.
Safe bet, but reliable, I would say. So in my end here, coming up here at the back end of the 4th round, Robert Woods, Julio Jones, both off the board. So now here I am again in a situation where 2 of the receivers I did like are now cramming into me because earlier when I took Clyde, both Jefferson and Ridley are gone. So I'm running into a situation that's kind of interesting. I do like Cooper Kupp because he's consistent, and Matthew Stafford being a part of that offense now is very important. Tyler Lockett's still on the board. Adam Thielen's still on the board. Those are guys that are of interest of mine anyway.
Hey, Thielen was with Justin Jefferson on the other side, was the 10th best wide receiver in PPR league last year.
Mhm.
And he's due for another monster year. Just because Justin Jefferson's right there, guys, and Kirk Cousins throwing in the ball doesn't mean he's not going to be good.
I'm still going to think in the mindset, though, of a safety valve, and I think that in the situation of the Rams, Cooper Kupp's probably the way to go here. I would have taken Robert Woods over Kupp, but because Kupp's there, Woods is gone. I'm going to go Cooper Kupp here with my pick at the back end of the 4th round. Not my ideal pick, but I'll accept it.
Okay. Yeah.
Coming back around, Mark Andrews went off the board. Kareem Hunt went off the board.
Ooh.
Kareem Hunt went kind of early.
Yeah, he did.
You guys.
I
think
think Hunt went about 1-2 rounds early.
I think he went earlier than he should have in most situations. Now, that kind of leaves me in a situation, you guys. James Robinson's all alone now in Jacksonville. Travis Etienne's out for the season with a torn ACL. And I think that Robinson, who finished as an RB7 last year, I mean, look at the running backs that are off the board, you guys. Looking at this board real quick. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I mean, we have so many backs off the board. Is James Robinson worthy of a top 15 running back pick? I think so.
I think so at this point.
For me, I'm going to go ahead and solidify my running back backfield and take James Robinson. And at that point, after I do this, I don't have to look at running backs again for another few rounds. So that's my thought process going into this one. Absolutely.
All right. So we go head up to me here. All right, guys. So we hit 10 here. Look who's still on the board. Adam Thielen. Obviously, this is a no-doubter. I'm not checking Jamari Chase. He's having issues catching the ball this offseason. Hopefully that gets fixed here, but it's not looking good for Jamari Chase. TJ Hawkinson, he's on my do not draft list at this point. I just got to wait 3 or 4 more
Tanner,
rounds.
hey, it's actually my turn.
Oh, it's your turn.
Not to,
Tanner
my
got
bad.
excited.
Sorry, I'm trying to view the players instead of the
not to burst your bubble here. So,
But who are you
Right.
going, though?
Tanner was getting pumped.
Dude,
Well-
Adam Thielen there? I'm going.
Give it a few minutes.
At this point, I've got 2 running backs. I only got 1 wide receiver. I got my quarterback locked up in Russell Wilson. And so I think the best pick for me at this spot has got to be Adam Thielen.
Okay.
Again,
Good.
like what did I do last round? It was Russell Wilson, Mr. Reliable. You know what to expect. And I think with Adam Thielen, I know what to expect for him. You know, like Justin Jefferson is the man to me in that offense. And so I think Adam Thielen is going to get what he gets every year, and he's going to be Mr. Dependable.
Are we trusting
Mhm.
Chase at this ADP position right now?
Jamar Chase?
Yeah.
I would not personally. I would definitely take T. Higgins over Jamar Chase. And so with this ADP position we're looking at right now, in this area right now, Jamar Chase is 52.9 compared to 67.4 ADP. Definitely, we went over this, guys. If you go back to our old videos, we had a debate about this. T. Higgins all the way over Jamar Chase right now. Trust us on this.
Big
Do
time.
not worry about Jamar Chase. Take T. Higgins.
All right, so I have an interesting spot here. Chase is still there. Obviously, he's not on my list. I could go quarterback here, Herbert, Prescott, or Rodgers. I'm not a big 49ers guy at all. I do not like any of the 49ers at all. I don't care who's starting, Trey Lance or Garoppolo. It doesn't matter. I'm not touching them. Michael Thomas, guys, is kind of interesting being in that spot because he could blow up after week 6 when he does come back off the, what is it, the PUP list, the IR, whatever he's on now.
I'll be out for 6 weeks either way.
Yeah, so I'm kind of looking here. You know what? If Aaron Rodgers is sitting in this spot at the pick 10, you guys just go Aaron Rodgers. You're going to be okay. Dak's not a bad pick there either, but I think I trust Rodgers there.
Well, keep in mind, Tanner, he was the leader in PPR in our format anyway, in our league, in points altogether last year, putting up 48 touchdowns and 5 picks. That was it.
Correct. All right, so here. What round are we in, guys? Sorry, I'm losing
We're
track.
in the 6th round right
Sixth round. Tanner's
Sixth round
turn. It's
already.
Tanner's turn.
So 6th round, guys, here. I went down too far.
You need a quarterback, don't you?
I just got
now. Well,
Rodgers.
he just got Rodgers.
Oh, okay.
So
I don't need anything on that one.
Don't
He
usually drafts 3 quarterbacks though. In one
Well, he
year.
drafts 3
Yeah.
Well,
6 quarterbacks.
We're
yeah.
talking to Tanner. He takes tight ends. We already know that.
So I haven't
Right.
taken tight end, by the way, yet. So
Not yet.
just note that,
What's your
guys.
favorite?
Oh,
So now I'm looking here at this pick here. I actually like either Mike Davis or Smith Schuster at this part. I'm not still a fan of Gus Edwards because when he gets carries, he gets hurt too easily, I believe, and he's going to go down
Well, they
probably
can't afford that either.
week
right
4,
now,
week
Baltimore.
5. I mean, if you're going to get Edwards, you got to go get the handcuff with it. So I'm not going Edwards. I'm probably just going to go ahead and go Davis here and build up my running back depth.
All right, so we are back to the JG. I do not have a tight end yet, but I'm not worried about that because I am going to go with Gus Edwards. I'm going with the Gus bus because he's getting all of the carries. You know, outside of Lamar Jackson, he's going to get all the carries in that offense. And they are a run-first offense. They play great defense. And so I know what I'm going to get with the Gus bus, so I'm going to take my third running back here.
Make sure Edwards. If you go get Gus Edwards, you better be picking up Tyson Williams, who's been getting a lot of carries behind Gus Edwards.
And just to be clear, if you can get Gus Edwards in the 6th round, guys, that's a solid pick.
Yeah.
He's not a guy that I'm going to reach for like we would a J.K. Dobbins type player, but he's going to get volume, and that's why I would more than be happy to take him in the 6th round.
Yeah, Justice Hill, Tyson Williams, late in the draft here. You can get it, solidify your handcuff.
So my situation right here, coming in at the end of the 6th round, we talked about this the other day, you guys. We did another debate. And it wasn't about, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. It was about Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton. Cortland Sutton coming off an injury. Jerry Jeudy also had 13 drops last year. And, Jeudy is going to be a good player in this league, without a doubt. I mean, he's going to be a stellar player, absolutely. Also, Cortland Sutton has the size, height, weight, speed, kind of capability to be the red zone target that they truly desire, especially with, them figuring out their quarterback situation between Teddy Bridgewater and
Drew Lock.
And Drew Lock. That's his name. Drew Lock.
If you can't think of his name, that means he sucks, by the way.
He's got a lot to prove, and I wish the Broncos would have actually kept Drew Lock as a starter and just gone with it that way, but they chose to go the other way, so we'll see how that unfolds. So anyways, you guys, with this said, I still have on my board Chase Claypool, and as well as Devontae Smith, Jerry Jeudy, DJ Chark, and Cortland Sutton. I believe in Cortland Sutton to come back and be a productive part of that offense once again and have a 1,000-yard season. So
I like that pick.
He is my third receiver off the board. So coming back around, you guys, since I'm quick around, you got Javonte Williams, who also is a Broncos rookie running back.
Yep.
Melvin Gordon, which we're back-to-back Broncos quarterback or running backs for this team here, which is kind of wild. So that's very interesting to see how that unfolded for team number 1. So this kind of leaves me in a situation, guys. I could still get Jeudy, Claypool, wherever I wanted to go with this situation, or I could also look at the running backs and look at Ronald Jones or Leonard Fournette to be a part of my team as well. In this situation, because I already had James Robinson as a part of my team, I went 3 running backs the first 5 rounds. And at tight end, I see Noah Fant sitting there. Noah Fant, his trajectory is only going up. The guy is going to be a productive part. Teddy loves him some tight ends. And so that's my boy.
So Edmonds is sitting there at running back, obviously, but I think he's a do not draft at this point.
I don't like
a few more rounds. I think Connor ends up beating him out come 2-3 weeks out.
James Conner is on that team, and I would just not trust Chase Edmonds whatsoever. Connor is a proven running back, and that's just the way it's going to have to go down.
Oh, yeah.
Noah Fant, though, at tight end, I trust him to be an every down tight end. I also like Dallas Goedert. I also like Gronk for certain situations, but for me, Noah Fant all the way here. So tight end is now off my board and taken care of at this point.
All right. I like it.
All right. So isn't Noah Fant's a little banged up, is it?
He's always a little
banged up. At the moment, he's a little banged up. He's always a little banged up. That's a thing. Right. But here's my strategy. I'm going to take 2 close together. So Noah Fant has upside, but also I'm going to have someone that's safer bet later on.
All right. So we are here, and it's the JG's turn. I still don't have a tight end, but guess what? I don't really give a shit because I'm building my depth right now. And I'm going to go with Jerry Jeudy here. And the reason I'm taking Jerry Jeudy is because somebody's got to catch some passes in that fucking offense. I know we don't expect a lot out of that offense, but like we said, Noah Fant's a little bit banged up. Cortland Sutton, we kind of know what he is, and I don't think he's going to really break out this year. Jerry Jeudy has the most talent, I feel like, in that entire offense. So I'm going to go with Jerry Jeudy here, build a little bit of depth with my wide receiver core.
I like it. Let's see if my guy falls to me. And he falls to me, guys. All right, here's a guy you got to watch out for. Robbie Anderson this year, guys. Sam Darnold is on a new team, a new offense.
Robbie Anderson every year should be
He
asleep.
sucks. He sucks.
Every year. Don't even stop.
Every year.
Every year.
You know it. This guy is.
I called it last year. I told you guys to draft him. If you didn't, you messed up.
Yeah, you messed up. He was 19th best in PPR last year. This is a guy that will be consistent week in, week out. Sam Darnold is his quarterback now, and you know Sam Darnold's going to be the quarterback every week with him. And new offense, new offensive line, a whole new team for Sam Darnold, a whole new opening, and they are looking pretty dang good lately in the offensive side. So Carolina, Robbie Anderson's my pick at wide receiver. I'll be happy to take that all day long at this point. And then we kind of go down here. Jalen Waddle's still there, guys. Rob Gronkowski, Gesicki, who I think Mike and I like a tight end as well for Miami. But I'm going to actually kind of go down and maybe look at a reach here as we go down. So we don't like drafting from bad teams, right, Jason? Bad teams.
You don't draft running backs on bad teams. You can draft other positions on bad teams, but not running backs.
I got you. Okay. In that case here, we're going to go ahead and go Antonio Brown with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as wide receiver.
Hey, I love that pick, Tanner. I was thinking about him in my mind too. In this round especially, Antonio Brown should be on your radar, absolutely, especially with guys like Chris Godwin having an injury history. AB, 32 years old, who gives a damn? Tom Brady loves him. The guy's going to run underneath routes no matter what.
He still has great talent. The guy's phenomenal.
You have potential for like a 75 to 80 catch season for Antonio Brown, and an offense that's already loaded with the best quarterback.
With Evans and Godwin and Gronkowski and Bray.
I'm just saying, Antonio Brown, do not give up on him. The only way you'd ever be weary of taking him is if he goes and shoots up a porn store or something. I don't know. Whatever he's into, you never know with him sometimes. So I'm just saying, that's a great value pick, Tanner. I like it a lot.
I love it too. The thing about Antonio Brown is he's a superstar caliber player. Nothing's changed with him.
No.
He's still a superstar
he
caliber player.
He still scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl, didn't he?
He can still score when he
wants.
In
the playoffs.
And he's such a better value than Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. So the JG is here on the clock. I still don't have a tight end. And guess what? The best player on the board right now is Mike Gesicki of Miami. But I'm not going to take him. I'm going to build some more running back depth here because this year, guys, it's all about running backs. You got to get some good running backs early, and then you got to build your depth. So I'm going to go with Damian Harris here.
I like that
of New England. And so Sony Michel's gone. Yeah, I mean, James White is still there. Who gives a shit? I'm going to go with Damian Harris, build some running back depth.
Yeah, I love that pick, Jason, because here's the thing. Cam Newton was also part of a running game in that. Mac Jones does not run the ball whatsoever.
No.
Matt Jones, as far as athletic ability, might as well be another Tom Brady.
You're also looking at 22 touchdowns that Cam Newton scored last year in the red zone. Now it's all Harris. Hand the ball off, let him go.
Harris is going to be your goal line guy, and also with Sony Michel being out of the team now, Harris is going to be a great value pick at this point, and so he fits in great as an 8th round pick for you there. He's actually a guy who's on my radar. Now, I'm looking at the running backs now. Kenyon Drake, A.J. Dillon, Duke Johnson, David Johnson, Devin Singletary, Raheem Hines.
Take the Duke. The Duke.
I'm not seeing a lot that impresses me. I see a couple guys down the board that I like, but overall, I'm still wanting to round out my receivers a little better. And Brandon Cooks is still on the board for me. Corey Davis is the number 1 receiver with the Jets.
Yeah, but
Will Fuller,
Brandon Cooks.
And I'm gonna go ahead and do this. I'm gonna take the number 1. That's right. I said the number 1 receiver for the Indianapolis Colts, Michael Pittman Jr.
I like it.
As my WR4 at this point. So I like that quite a bit with the upside. Wrapping back around.
Oh man, if you can go Chenault right now. Andrew Lawrence is not a
look.
That's Andrew
Lawrence. Guys out there, I don't mind Laviska Chenault. So there might be some people out there that enjoy it. Don't talk about Andrew Lawrence, Tanner. Making up words. Laviska Chenault is going to probably catch around 60 passes this year for the Jaguars. But that doesn't mean he's actually a good player whatsoever. He's actually got great hands. I think he's got a purpose for that team without a doubt. But he's also not a playmaker. And that's what I'm looking for when I look at upside of a player. And I don't see that with him whatsoever. What I do see, though, is the Raiders' number 1 receiver, and that's Henry Ruggs down my board. Now, this might be a reach in some people's mind.
Ruggs!
Henry Ruggs is a 1,000-yard receiver sitting here in the 9th round. Henry Ruggs is going to be a steal with huge upside between Pittman, Ruggs, and Cortland Sutton. Those are my main guys to hopefully break that 1,000-yard barrier.
Okay, so I'm sitting here. I still don't have a tight end. I can only hold out for so long, and I can't hold out any longer. So I've got Mike Gesicki sitting there, and I think personally that Tua is going to take a step forward this year. And I know they have a lot of options with the receiver, but I think Gesicki, this is the year that he's going to take a step forward. He's going to have more receptions. And I think Tua is going to take a step forward. So I'm going to go with Gesicki here. Got my tight end locked up here. And so I'm good to go.
Round 10. Yeah.
Round 10. That's where you want to take your tight ends.
All right. Here's a guy in my mind, guys. This is a guy that nobody likes. The team is awful, but he's going to be like their only target that they're going to have. That's Corey Davis. Corey Davis is due for a huge year on that Jets team. Right now, rookie quarterbacks. I know Jason want to talk about it at some point, but it's not bad. It's not bad there. It's not great. The offensive line's not great, but where is he going the whole preseason? Corey Davis. Corey Davis is going to be his guy. He's going to be his clutch. It's going to be his safety net. So I'm going Davis in this one because he is going to get lots of targets, lots of yards, lots of receptions.
I do want to throw one thing out about the Jets, and that's the fact that Tony Romo, of all people, came out and said that Zach Wilson is the next Patrick Mahomes. Okay?
Yeah.
So we just I know he's full of shit.
Can we just not do that?
I'm just telling you, like a lot of people trust Tony Romo, even though I would probably pronounce it Tony Homo, but you know. Just throwing that out there.
We're gonna not worry about what Tony Romo has to say about that whole thing. Yeah. Anyway, you guys, I haven't even heard that yet. I haven't heard that.
I haven't heard
we
that
can
either.
continue on because I don't want to go into that stupidity.
All right, so we just got 2 rounds left here, and we'll be done. Guys, I haven't picked a tight end yet.
You got to get your tight end, dude. Get that fucking.
So where do I go?
Do it.
Where do I go?
Do it.
I go to Stafford, who blew up Hawkinson.
You got to blow
and
it up.
he's going to blow up Higbee.
Yeah.
Blow it up.
Higbee time, guys.
I like that pick, Tanner. That's a good value pick at that point for Higbee. Overall, your team looks good. Your running backs still are kind of iffy to me in general, Tanner. Just
It's a tough depth at 10.
We'll see who you pick up here in the back end to see maybe you can get a good value guy.
All right. JG's on the clock.
Round 11.
I got to get some more depth here. And as I told you guys last week for the Buffalo Bills, somebody's got to run that fucking ball and somebody's got to punch it into the end zone. So I'm going to go with Devin Singletary here. Not the greatest running back out there, but we like good running backs, or we like decent running backs on good teams. So Buffalo Bills are going to score a lot of points. So I'm going to build my depth at running back with that pick.
So I was patient here. I'm going to play the matchups on these, but I have no quarterbacks yet on my team whatsoever.
Please tell me you're going Trey Lance.
I took Dalvin Cook, Clyde
Trey Lance, Justin Fields.
I went out that. So
don't do it. Don't do it.
Hey, now calm down. We're running down to round 10 and the back end coming around 11. I'm going to go quarterback back to back for your information. First one, Baker Mayfield's off the board. Second one, we're going to go with a little Kirk Cousins off the board after that. So I like Kirk Cousins, Baker Mayfield. I'll play the matchups on those two throughout the season. But keep in mind, both those quarterbacks, who do they have at receiver? Are you kidding me? Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen.
Unbelievable.
And on the Browns and the things, you got Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham. I mean, come on. Things are going to happen here.
Unbelievable.
So, play the matchups.
Oh, that's so great.
Back-to-back quarterbacks. That's right, guys. That's how you handle taking quarterback late. You just take 2 back-to-back, play the matchups, go from there.
I'll take it. Hey, we're on to my next pick here.
Miko.
The JG is looking for some tight end depth.
Okay.
And what do we do when we look for tight ends? We look at the old New England Patriots. So they don't have a lot of great wide receivers on that fucking team. So I'm interested in a little Jonnu Smith here because he's a guy that I had a boner for last year when he was on the Titans. I still have a boner for him this year. So I'm going to get some tight end depth, take Jonnu Smith.
I like that. I like that pick. You know why? Because our guy, Evan Ingram, who's sitting right around there, New York Giants, is looking to be out possibly the first couple of weeks with an injury.
As usual, guys.
It is a calf injury, guys, and just know this is a guy that's consistently injured. And if you're looking at him at this spot outside of Jonnu Smith and Henry, don't pick Ingram. you got to wait on Ingram. If he's there, maybe another round or two, pick him late. But this is a guy that's going to miss multiple games this year. He's already missing probably the first one for sure, probably the first two. So just FYI on that pick. All right, guys. Looks like I'm up here. Oh, yeah. Here's a guy that's going to get lots of targets again. Kind of old, an old face, new team. Marvin Jones, guys. I like Marvin Jones here at this pick here. I think he's going to be great with Lawrence. He's going to get tons of targets. You got Chenault on the other side, Chark on the other side, but Jones is going to be the guy that sneaks in and steals some of these targets. All right. And, snakes around to me, doesn't it? So, guys, interesting part here. Rashad Bateman is starting on the IR here for the Ravens. So he is unavailable, I believe, till week 6 or 7.
For Bateman?
For Bateman. They just put him on
today. They're going to have issues throughout part of the beginning of the season because Watkins is going to have injury issues. Bateman's out. So they're going to have Marquise Brown be the number one receiver, and they're not going to know what to do. J.K. Dobbins is out.
Marquise Brown's actually struggling with a hamstring injury right now.
So
and he could be held out game 1. So you with Sammy Watkins.
Right. It's going to be a problem.
So, all right. Anyways, outside of receivers, guys, Callaway's there too at New Orleans, and I love him at this spot here. But I'm not looking for our receivers at this point. I'm looking for the most efficient running back that's going to be this year behind a great offensive line, and they have a great quarterback to go with it. With some wideouts, the standouts, like this is a team contending for the Super Bowl. Sonny Michel, baby.
Oh, you took my damn pick, you piece of shit.
He's going to be the most efficient fantasy PPR running back this year.
Worth the pick there for sure, and especially in the 12th round, Tanner. That's a good steal. Those out you listening, Sonny Michel could actually end up getting most of the carries throughout most of the season. So keep that in mind.
Darrell Henderson's struggling with a hand injury still, so look at Sonny Michel to steal a lot of carries.
It's going to be a thing.
All right, so we are in the 12th round, and
it's our final round.
As tempted as I am to draft Nelson Assholer to build my wide receiver depth, I'm not going to do that shit because
he's the only receiver for New England.
This guy, Marcus Callaway, he fucking looked great. He looked great in the preseason. So I've got plenty of running back depth at this point. I've got my tight ends, my quarterback. Let's fucking put Marcus Callaway in there as my wide receiver.
I like that pick.
There you go. So I haven't touched running backs in a while. Not since I took James Robinson in the 5th round, which in my opinion could be a steal. He finishes RB7, so I was happy about that. And I already had my other running back solidified. So I haven't touched a guy since 6 rounds now for running backs. So I'm looking at the running back list. I still have Latavius Murray on my system here. We got Madison, we got Gainwell, we got Stevenson, Giovanni Bernard still, Devontae Booker. But here's the thing, you guys. This actually helps one of the guys that I really like still. James White is still in New England.
Yes.
And Mac Jones throwing the ball.
He's looking
rookie quarterback looking for that safety valve every damn play.
I thought James White retired. I thought he was out of the league. Is he still in the league? Can we draft him?
Mac Jones is without his star left guard because he's now a Chief.
Unbelievable.
Right. So James White off the board in the 12th round for PPR leagues. That's a steal. That's a steal. James White, baby, in the 12th round.
That's just crazy.
It's too bad it's not Danny Woodhead. But I'll take the
Kevin Fogg, Danny Woodhead. We went through all of them at some point.
So that wraps up our draft, guys. Here we just did a 12-round simulation today.
Take a look at your team, you guys. What do you think overall from top to bottom? How your team is constructed? What kind of ranking do you think you'd give your team so far on your list?
I love it. I mean, the thing about my team, and this is my strategy, and I've told you guys this before, is you want to be well balanced. So don't listen to these quote unquote gurus who are telling you to draft 5 fucking running backs in the first 5 rounds or 3 to 4 wide receivers. You want to keep it balanced because, running backs, especially, sometimes they get injured. And so you want to keep it balanced. And so I'm happy with my team. I've got depth at every single position.
Yeah.
I've got a solid quarterback and Russell Wilson. I did go running back heavy early, but only in the first 2 rounds. And so, and then I filled out my roster. And so you don't want to go too one-sided here. I'm happy with my team because it's well balanced and I got a bunch of great fucking players.
Yeah, I love my team as well, guys. I think I did a great job at stealing Rodgers when I did. But as far as wide receiver depth, I'm loving wide receiver depth. There's going to be guys with plenty of targets, plenty of opportunities, especially Antonio Brown, Corey Davis, and Marvin Jones on the bench. Sonny Michel, getting him that late was a huge win as well. He could take over the Mike Davis spot for sure. in my starting lineup. But tight end guys, all I got was Higbee. If I look here on the tight ends here that could be coming up, I talked about him our first show that we started Fancy Talk. Jared Cook's at Chargers. I could be picking him a couple more rounds from now, up in the 15, 16 round. Don't forget about Hooper at Cleveland and also Everett in Seattle. So those are possible guys that are late. And if I really wanted to really get a third guy, Troutman, who's currently hurt, he could be a guy that could be picked out really late as well.
Yeah, those aren't concerns by any means. I mean, we didn't pick a defense or kicker here because, in our opinion, for showing you guys this mock draft was not relevant.
I don't think you're going to want to see us take Jason Sanders from Miami or something.
Right. I mean, obviously, defenses do matter in fantasy, of course, but we wanted to show you mainly our skill position players. We wanted to show to you guys of who we have of interest.
So one other thing I want to throw out is just like I think for me, Damian Harris as my running back 4, as late as I got him, that's not realistic, and so I don't want you guys to think that that's realistic to grab him that late.
I could tell you in our draft come Saturday night, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes are not going to make it past the first round, or they're not going to be available past the first round. I guarantee you in our draft.
I wouldn't go that far. Rodgers is going to be there still.
In our draft, I'd be surprised.
Well, you must be drafting a bunch of 10-year-olds.
I don't know.
If that's the case.
I do it every year around this time.
We always assume that, but it ends up not happening that way. I mean, we'll see how things play out, I suppose.
Mike, what do you think about your team? You didn't tell us your recap.
Overall, I'm pretty happy. I'm going to play quarterback streamers basically because I got Mayfield to go along with Kirk Cousins. Now, keep in mind, Kirk Cousins finished as QB 11 last year. Still workable, but I expect Mayfield to step up once again this year and be more consistent. So
I don't see Baker Mayfield as a streamer this year. I think he's going to be, especially with that roster, I think he's going to be dependable this year.
Yeah, and there's options there. But I like the running back situation I got because I love me some Dalvin Cook. I mean, that's a certified, potentially RB1 as far as like finishing the season as RB1 once again. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire, that's a guy that honestly he should have put up more points last year if he was healthy throughout the season, especially in Andy Reid's offense. Looking at 2 certified RB1s on my roster. Keenan Allen, injury problems. Cooper Kupp has some injury history. But I love me some Cortland Sutton, Michael Pittman, Henry Ruggs. I think all those guys have huge upside to where they're all 1,000-yard receivers. All 5 of my guys could be 1,000-yard receivers, in my opinion. But then also grabbing James White at the very end of the draft there in round 12 was a steal. So.
And let's say we were going past like a normal draft, you probably go 16 rounds or so. So guys, still to come after the 12th round, there's a Matt Ryan still there. Jameis Winston who could have a big year. Ryan Fitzpatrick who will be the starter for the Washington football team with multiple guys there as weapons. Like there's multiple quarterbacks still late in the game if you need to boost up your quarterback depth. So like there's options out there. There's options past 12 that you guys got to keep in mind. You don't have to jump right away to a Patrick Mahomes or an Aaron Rodgers, right? Or Dak Prescott.
Yeah, overall, I think we're all fairly happy with the way our teams were constructed. So
it was a great fucking draft. I'll take it.
We appreciate Sleeper for putting it together for us, at least helping us out with constructing that. Because last year, you guys, we did a live Yahoo draft, and that was interesting. But I don't think we had the whole video going with us at the time.
So no. It was not it's not streamer friendly.
It was not streamer friendly at all.
Sleeper is very streamer.
In this case, you guys got to see the footage of our draft picks along the way. So, but here's the thing, guys. In-game management, or in-season management, I should say, is always the most important thing you can do with your roster. You can have a strategy of drafting RB0 or whatever it may be. And most years I don't draft a kicker at all, and some years I don't draft a defense either. But I go into this draft and I'll load up on all the playmakers I want, and then before week 1, I'll then add kicker and defense.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: it's all about in-season management and adjusting on the fly as things unfold. You just got to be aware of how teams are functioning. And so in situations like in Tampa Bay, if you took a Ronald Jones and all of a sudden you wake up one day and Leonard Fournette got 10 carries to Ronald Jones getting 2, you better be making some moves. You got to be making some adjustments there because you can't live your life with Ronald Jones as a starter if Leonard Fournette's getting all the carries. And so you just got to adjust throughout the season and make things happen that way.
Yep, I fully agree. It's more pay attention, see what's going on. Like just know what's going on.
Absolutely. So thank you guys so much for tuning in for the mock draft portion of our show tonight. We're still sipping on some whiskey over here though, so that means we're not done yet, you guys. We're not done. giving you the business.
What do you pull a Max here?
Oh,
is that a Max voice?
I didn't mean to be a Max voice. Not done giving you the business.
I'm not done with the Delta variant either. I'm still sipping on that.
Well, if you guys have any questions, by the way, before your draft, definitely leave a comment in the comment section or his on Twitter, whatever the case may be. We have TikToks. Obviously, we'll be doing TikTok for our AFC North edition,
Correct.
by the way, coming up directly after the show. So pay attention, guys, and we will be definitely live on there here in a few minutes. But first, let's talk a little bit longer about the Chiefs. So as you guys know, Chiefs are our main focus. And so today Tyrann Mathieu was tested positive for COVID-19. And we had some people that were a little upset about that, but it's not going to affect the team at all, I don't think. I mean, Tyrann Mathieu's a veteran, 29 years old, been on this team for a while now, and knows what he's doing. So, those things happen. He's a vaccinated player. He came out on Twitter and has admitted that he's vaccinated. Also, we've known about this for a while. And people are giving him flack here and there about the whole thing. And it's nothing to be concerned about if you're a Chiefs fan listening to this show tonight.
No.
Because he will be, in my opinion, there week 1. It's nothing to be concerned about because he's got to do 2 negative tests before the game can begin. Is
He's
that correct?
vaccinated, so he has a 5-day waiting period.
Mhm.
We got guys. We're still
In week 1,
2
for
weeks
Chiefs,
out, for a week and a half.
This is September 1st, by the
So
way.
week and a half out. September 1st, Wednesday. So we're a week and a half out. 5 days waiting period. 2 negative tests back to back. We got plenty of time. Let him be. If he was unvaccinated, it'd be a different question. He could be questionable come the start, but since he has the vaccine, we're gonna be fine.
Yeah, I think he's going to be, without a doubt, week 1, ready to roll. Now, my other thing, guys, is Willie Gay Jr. being in kind of an issue as far as injury history at this point because he now has turf toe, as far as we know it. And the thing is, he played phenomenal in week 3 preseason against the Vikings.
Yeah, great break.
Flying around the field.
Yeah.
The dude's physically just amazing. He's fast, hits hard.
Yeah.
As you can tell, he's a playmaker. And now, we're thankful we drafted Nick Bolton because Nick Bolton can now step in if he has to miss time for Willie Gay. And so Nick Bolton didn't get him that much playing time in preseason, but I think he's going to be ready for week 1. And it's just frustrating, guys. And also go along with Frank Clark. We didn't see any of Frank Clark at all in the preseason. So it's like, what is this defense really going to look like come week 1?
Yeah,
It's
Frank
hard to say.
Clark's out practicing now. So he had practice, I believe it was the other day, on Tuesday, when they were announcing cuts. He was out practicing, guys. He was limited, but he was out there. So it's good science working for Frank Clark. Hopefully we see him more in practice and feel a little bit more comfortable about him starting on the other side of Chris Jones.
Biggest surprise keep, by the way, on the roster, I think, after the cuts were made, is, to me, Chris Lamons. I think Chris Lamons making this team is very interesting. They see something in him. I'm not sure
That's
what.
That's a Dave Tube guy right there.
Right,
Dave Toeb all day, baby.
Right, yeah. Dave Toeb, special teams.
That's why DOD
all
made
the
it
way.
too.
Well, of course. DOT's been on this team for a while now. Darnell Daniel. And, that's there's make no mistake. The dude's got his point and his specialty on this roster. I was surprised to see Marcus Kemp go, though, in favor of Darius Fountain.
I still feel like they're going to put somebody in IR and he's going to come back. He's going to be our 6th guy in the end.
It's potentially true because there's still, right, as we talked about earlier, 2 spots left on the roster to be filled in before week 1. So
now
I think something's going to
There are
happen.
talks coming out. The KC Star guy, Sam Mellinger, he was on Twitter today, and there was talks about possibly Cootie coming on from where did he get cut from? Houston?
Kiki Cutie
Kiki
from
Cutie.
Houston. He's now a free agent.
But apparently there's a whole different guy that's supposedly in the works to add on to the receiver mix. So possibly that keeps Kemp off the team. So we could be seeing a whole new addition from all these cuts going on.
And the reason being, I guess, would be the Texas Tech relation between Mahomes and Kiki, considering they played together for a couple of years.
It wouldn't be the end of the world.
It'd be fine. But I also, at that point, would expect maybe they trust him over DeMarcus Robinson because Kiki Cutie is not going to be a special teamer for this team. I don't think.
No.
I mean, I could be wrong, but we already have returners. We already have specialists to do certain things with blocking on this team. We already have field returners. We have gunners. What are we lacking that Kiki Cutie cannot field?
He's not going to be a special teamer, but the fact that his name is Kiki Cutie, he should make the team based on that fact alone. That's a very great name.
Yeah.
I love that name.
Well, that's not happening.
Chief-
He did get cut, but he's not with the Chiefs.
I think something Chiefs Twitter needs to realize, guys, and I think we need to just accept. We just have to accept it, guys. Demarcus Robinson is going to be a factor for this team. He was a factor last year. He'll be a factor this year. He won't be returning punts and kicks, obviously, because Dave Tobe does not like that at all, the way he carries that ball. But he will be a fort. He'll be a guy that Mahomes is going to rely on. It's just
all I know is when the offense lines up, give me some Byron Pringle over D-Rob any day of the week.
I mean, D-Rob's been here since fucking 2017, so it's time for him to put up or shut up because, I mean,
he's going to be.
He is what
he's got to do something.
He is what he is at this point.
I think you're correct on that. He's been here fucking forever.
You solve all your issues with a lot of
guys. We're gonna have
a lot of money.
we're gonna have another full show coming up next week, of course.
Yes.
Going all in depth on the Chiefs coming up in week 1.
Yes.
And also a recap of our actual drafts, our real life drafts, I should say, and be able to dig into those a little bit before we discuss the Chiefs opener against the Cleveland Browns.
Big week next week. Big week.
And also not this Thursday, but next Thursday we have real NFL football, you guys.
Tampa Bay Cowboys. So
that's right. Well, you mean
Tampa Bay
Buccaneers, Cowboys?
Buccaneers, Cowboys. Okay. I mean, who cares? But yeah.
Well, anyways, you guys, I'm very pumped. I hope you guys enjoyed our mock draft. It was a great time, actually. I suggest you guys, if you want to practice some more, do the sleeper rep, do Yahoo, whatever you got to do to get yourselves ready, prepared for your league's draft. And I hope you guys have a successful season with knowledge. At least if you lose, I hope you're at least knowledgeable about losing. Like if you lost your league this year and you didn't know a damn thing, you're gonna feel like you put in no work at all. But like if you put in some effort, like at least you're gonna feel more knowledgeable than it would be if you just didn't do a damn thing.
Yeah, I agree. You got to be knowledgeable, which is why I hope you stay tuned for our TikTok about the AFC North. We're gonna give you some gambling advice as far as the odds and whatnot. So stay tuned for that.
Gambling advice.
Jason's
TikTok.
Easy money pick coming up.
Give us
easy
a follow.
Money. Easy money.
Give us a follow on the TikTok, boys. All right, guys. Well, it was good hanging out with you. And I guess with that said, if there's no final words here, I'll see y'all on the next one.
See you guys.